Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Four Jobbers podcast. I am, of course, Ginger Heat, Le Heat de Gingembre, and I am joined by the body from Kirkcaldy, Jordan Deves, all the way from, not Ayr, Scotland, but Kirkcaldy, Scotland, originally by way of Edinburgh. How you doing, fella?
I'm quite impressed you remembered that, mate. Well done. Yeah, I'm good. What a day. What a wild day. I had
Tiger Woods, right?
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, sorry.
Broken legs and whatnot, or operations in his legs. I hope he gets well soon.
The jaws of life.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I almost lost my leg today. I have a spin bike in my bedroom, right? And I'm just firing away while, listening to some work stuff that I had to do. And the pedal snaps off, right? And like rips up the side of my shoe and cuts into my leg and everything.
What?
So that was pretty crazy.
I didn't know about this. Did anyone else know about this?
No. I thought I'd save it as a wee surprise.
Yeah, well done.
That's quite the surprise.
And then just down the road, right? Because it was pretty windy today. I just go into the it's Edinburgh. That's how it goes.
It was raining and it was windy.
Yeah,
weird.
I jump onto Instagram and there's all these photos. The roof of a house just along the road came off and landed on a couple of people's cars. So that was pretty wild. So I went to have a look at it.
Fuck.
Just went for a wee walk and there it was.
With your busted leg?
There was a roof on the road.
Oh, you got to see it?
Yeah. It was like three or four vans of like roofing companies, just a roof on the road, and then like I don't know, all these people just cutting about.
When all these roofing companies drive by, like, hey, I was there to fix it, even though they didn't. They can just like put it on their website.
Yeah, but we know somebody that lives in one of the flats that's the building next door to the roof that came off. And they got a message from their landlord, like an email, right? Came through. It said, "Good day, Michael here. Just in case you've heard that one of the roofs has come off of the building, just to make you, just to reassure you, it's not your roof. Regards." Said.
Just in case you look.
I wasn't sure.
Like. As if you wouldn't know the roof of your building had fallen off. But hey,
just to be sure, it wasn't your roof. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a house on fire. Don't worry, it's not yours.
Don't worry, it's not yours.
If it doesn't feel extra hot, you're probably okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that landlords have to do in Edinburgh, I guess. And don't worry, your roof is intact.
Wow.
But yeah, that was an interesting day in Scotland for sure.
Aye.
Speaking of interesting things, we have a waxy snake in the building. He is milky. He is delicious. I know it firsthand. He is the Wax Mamba, the son of the dentist. How you doing, laddie?
I'm well. Sipping a nice Unibrew. And I was just thinking about this. I don't remember the last time, because I sip my beer out of the receptacle it comes in usually. Can, bottle. But because this is a big trash receptacle, someone's hands, whatever. But because I bought a big bottle, big boy, I poured it into a glass. I can't remember the last time I drank a beer, or I drank beer out of a glass.
It's like being at a bar.
It's like being at a bar. It's kind of nice.
But there is something a little bit different about your glass as opposed to pub glass. Like
yes,
Some of our friends take pub glasses, so it's
yeah,
pretty much the
and
same
so
thing.
do I. But like, there's just something about when it hits your mouth, it just doesn't quite taste the same,
It's not
like,
the same glass.
Yeah, it's not a chilled pub glass. It's for sure,
Keep your
but
glass,
it's still.
You don't keep your glass in the freezer? What's wrong with you?
It doesn't have the taste of 1,000 beers that came before it.
Exactly. I want to taste another man's lips on my glass as I take a nice
on
sip.
your glass, you said? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Take it.
I'll have attendance in a dirty pint.
That's it. But it's still was somewhat more close to the bar experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. It's not exactly like a bar receptacle, if you will.
I'm still drinking some of my cold beers in the flat out of a lovely Canadian Molson export glass.
Away.
Nice.
Gifted to me from my trip to Canada. So yeah, it always reminds me of that time.
Nice.
And of course, yawning in the background, we have the visionary himself, the enigmatic, the charismatic, the bizarre, the mysterious, and the lover of all things that are beautiful. He is Jason the Visionary. How are you this week, my friend?
I'm doing good. Yeah, work was kind of annoying as it is for many people. So before the podcast, I realized I should go for a walk.
I guess he froze there, eh?
That
was epic timing.
that.
That was epic timing. Oh, there you are. You're back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Good.
I was still talking while it was frozen, just in case you could hear me. But anyways,
No.
yeah, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling any emotion is overpowering you, go for a walk and then come back and make a decision.
Before you post on social media, go for a walk.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be
How
people
far of
walking
a
all over the
walk?
place all day.
Well, it would be good, though, because then there'd be so much less... Anyway, you were going to say something, Jordan.
How far of a walk is enough? I've been trying to work this out. Like, how far
A
do I
long
need to
walk
go?
off a short pier.
Well, right, okay.
No,
right,
I don't
I'll
know.
go,
For
man.
me, just like 20 to 30 minutes
Yeah,
Okay.
at least.
Okay.
that's usually enough for me.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
try to
longer,
find it in,
but
like
Yeah, I want to get to like an hour.
yeah.
I'm kind of running
Yeah,
out of
but-
places to walk, though. Like,
That's part of the thing, right? Like, Edinburgh, I found you could always walk. And even a lot of the same routes that I'd go, since you're looking at Edinburgh, it would be 100% fine. And there's a lot of variation. And there is a lot of that in Montreal, but it's spread out. So it's very important where you choose. But, I mean, I think now, Wax, you'll be on the other side of
The world.
a certain road, right? And
yes.
you have more access to parks and stuff like that.
Not really. It'll be mostly the same area, but what will happen is that
No
I will have
The other side
access.
of that street that I'm talking about, the other side has better access.
Yeah, yes, but I mean, it's like a 2-block walk, so the places I would walk are still the places I would walk,
Walk.
but I will have access to my car once again, so I can always drive somewhere and take a walk.
Oh, your
I
car.
see. Like I'm near the water, so honestly, it doesn't. Every day, it still feels good when you're near the water. Walking near the water, it's
I'm
always
sure.
good. And speaking of cars, they ruin everything. So I can't wait till they're all electric because they're loud and they stink and they ruin my walks.
Well,
Well,
Electric
Jason the
cars, let's
Visionary.
go.
There you go.
I'm down. Jason
Yeah,
the Visionary. He's jumping on the eco bandwagon finally after all these years of
For
preaching
the most
to
selfish reason, just so my walks are less interrupted.
whatever it is. And that's the reason that I try to
Whatever
pitch
it
to people
takes.
that, you know what, the most selfish reason you could do is your company's going to save money.
Yeah,
In the
that's
long
all
run,
it takes.
right?
Say money,
And they're like,
money?
oh, okay, well then I don't really care if it helps the environment, but it's going to save me money. I'm in. All great.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you guys watch this week in the world of wrestling? Tell me about it.
Well,
I
of
watched
course,
Elimination Chamber.
yeah.
La Chambre d'Elimination.
Yeah, we all did live.
Yeah, I watched
wish
it
I
on a 15-minute lunch break, right? And that was it. It was done. It was that
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
It
wasn't
was
that quick.
It was good. It was. I like the length. Good length.
The
Good
length,
girth.
yeah.
For a pay-per-view? Nah.
It was. It
Give
was
me
like
one more match, no?
2:45, wasn't it? 2 hours
Add
45.
a 15-minute match.
Why?
I don't know
Why?
exactly
They
how
already
long
threw
it
one
was.
crappy match in there. The tag match shouldn't have been there. It should have been shorter.
Yeah, there should be better matches, I guess.
All I know is that I was watching Les Canadiens, which started at 7 o'clock, just like Elimination Chamber. And by the time Elimination Chamber ended, I was still watching Les Canadiens. So the hockey game took longer than the wrestling pay-per-view, which isn't like a preposterous thing on its own, but usually the pay-per-view is a solid half hour at least longer than a hockey game with all the commercials, with the intermissions, with the stoppages. So I was surprised.
Just imagine though, like I know you don't really pay-per-view anymore. Like you do, but like most
It's a
people,
good thing you don't.
most people watch it on like a subscription service or whatever, right? But like imagine paying for that and then finding out that it was actually shorter than a free episode of Raw or whatever. Like,
But that's
would you
also
not
it
be
was, yeah.
pretty angry? Like, you can
Of course, especially what they used to cost. I mean, even
Yeah.
still, you're still paying for the network. Yeah, you get the old content too, but for a lot of us, it's a big part of it is having access to the new shows, right?
That's the opposite way
Not
around for
just the old
Jason.
stuff,
Jason watches all the old stuff and
Yeah,
then
it's true.
occasionally jumps on and watches like a new pay-per-view.
The classics.
But what did you guys think overall?
It was fine. Wasn't
Like,
great.
in spite of the time, in spite of the length.
It wasn't a classic. I wouldn't say that. It's not going to be one of those, if we're doing our best of 2021s at the end of the year, that's
Yeah.
not going to come up for me. It wasn't preposterously bad. I think, what was the one with the disappoint? That was SummerSlam? It wasn't that level
Yeah,
bad,
probably
I don't
something
think.
like that, yeah.
It was very apparent that the times in between pod openings were completely
Yes.
not random,
Yeah.
but they weren't all the same. Very apparent.
I actually spent most of the second match, like watching
Just
my
timing
phone, timing it. And I was sitting there going, "Oh, that's it. They've messed that up this time. It's an extra 4 seconds."
It helps that they don't, like in the Royal Rumble, they say every 3 minutes
90 seconds.
or every 90 seconds a superstar comes out. They didn't mention that at all in the Elimination
I know,
Chamber
No, because it
build-up.
was so off. They didn't want people
Yeah.
to remember. They're just like, oh, maybe they'll forget. We'll just pop them out whenever we want.
And like it's not a problem for me until it's too obvious. Like, you know, AJ Styles did it exactly when he was supposed to come out, maybe 30 seconds earlier. Like,
It just kind of
Yeah.
takes
No, it
you
didn't.
out of it
Yeah.
because it's like when the ref just stopped counting for the last man standing match. It's like they could just stop the charade whenever they want and just like push it through. It's like, okay.
Just feel like both Elimination Chamber didn't need to be Elimination Chamber. Like, if you had made, I know that there's 6
True.
people, so there's limited matches that you can have 6 people in, but like neither match really used the cage. Like, we normally see somebody going through the glass. We didn't see that.
slamming the door into the
Yeah, I guess there was a little bit of that.
little
But
some chain usage. I mean,
Yeah.
there was the one when was it? Who was getting swung and their head went into the post instead of the chainmail? It was
Cesaro swung Jey Uso. I
Jey
think.
Uso.
yeah, Jey Uso. It was like post to post to post, and then like the last one, he like really fucking
But like,
slammed his head into it.
I guess you could do that outside the ring. I don't know. There's there
I don't-
wasn't
yeah,
enough,
you could do it into the barrier. It's
Yeah, there wasn't enough in the chamber that made me go, "Oh, the chamber is diabolical."
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's not going to happen anymore. It's padded. It's
Yeah.
child proof now. It's not the same.
Child.
Why can't they lift up something and get like a chair or a kendo stick
Or lift up
some
the
weapons
mat
would help.
maybe just for a couple spots. Like if you don't want them doing all the spots like on the
Didn't
grate.
it used to be like a grate? It
It was
used
Yeah.
now
always
it's
a-
all
yeah, it was metal. And now
I
it's
remember,
padded. It's like,
uh,
oh my god.
Yeah, the great was brutal. I remember CM
Yeah.
Punk was in one once, and he got dropped on it, and you just see the rest of the match. His leg is like shredded up,
Yeah,
and it's like I get
Yeah.
they're trying
I'm
to
sure
be a
there's
little
a way
less
to make it. Yeah,
I know, but it,
though.
it's
a
like,
balance.
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even if you've got the mat, just leave the mat there for the entirety of the match, but then have somebody in one of them take the mat up and
Yeah.
yeah.
use that. You know, like that. That's okay as well. Like, I'd be fine with that. You know.
Yeah, they
just-
do it all the time outside the ring, right? When you
Yeah.
expose the concrete, and
Yeah, I want to see somebody getting their back rubbed off a cheese grater or whatever it is that's under there. I don't know. Just do it.
So let's just dive right into the Elimination Chamber if you guys are down. I mean, it started off with a pre-show, and we actually had a match with some sort of significance on the pre-show. What did you guys think of that?
which match was that? Oh, yes. Clearly, it was a match that was thrown together a little bit last minute, but I do like that we got to see Ali. I like that we got to see Ricochet. I like that we got to see John Morrison and the fourth person, who I don't remember.
Elias.
Oh, yeah. But
That makes sense. There's two
Maybe
of them
that's-
now. There's two
yeah,
Eliases.
Elias and friend, the Trump supporter. But
Is he a Trump
yeah,
supporter?
Yeah, he was like he got kind of heat because he was like tweeting about at the same time as like the Capitol Hill stuff was going on. So
He's probably there.
it might have been there.
Allegedly. No.
allegedly,
Yeah.
allegedly. But anyway, yeah, it was a fine match. I kind of forgot it was happening, so I only tuned in about halfway through, but it was nice. It was fine.
Yeah, it's just I liked having a match had meaning. The match wasn't great or anything, but
Yeah, if like they obviously, I wonder what the pre-show was gonna be before Keith Lee had pulled out, because obviously that match wouldn't have happened. So what were they gonna do if Keith Lee was still in the match? So I find it interesting that was there. I kind of expected when I heard they were just going to put somebody in the match. Somebody from Hurt Business, actually, is what I assumed, because it would make it more difficult for Riddle, I guess. But yeah, anyway.
It also, keep in mind, they removed a match from the card because there was supposed to be Asuka versus Lacey Evans. We all made predictions on who it was going to be to take Lacey Evans' place. They decided nobody.
They didn't
just
even
got rid of
mention
it
it.
completely.
No,
They didn't
just-
mention
they
it.
didn't
even
Nothing.
mention it.
Like you
So
like at the
bad.
very least you can't throw in I don't know a Peyton Royce, a Liv Morgan. They're not doing anything.
No, don't even have it. Don't even have it. I just mentioned, like, say something like we're planning to do it at a later date, or just something
Sure.
that it exists.
Fine.
Maybe I missed it. I don't know. I didn't hear
No,
it.
I didn't hear anything
them
about it.
mention it at all.
And I mean, we said it though on the last episode. Peyton Royce was already involved in that storyline, so it's an easy transition if you still want to have that match, and they still want to push Peyton, and that's giving her a valuable experience spot, even if it's just in between some of these matches to break up some of the pace. I don't know. I still think it could have been that extra 15, 20 minutes that we missed.
Yeah,
Just
I mean
tells
that's it.
you what, you know.
But again, it's
they're-
not necessary. It's just my,
No.
it's my 2
Yeah,
cents.
but you've got somebody that's built to have a match. So even just have Asuka come out and go, Nobody
was
for
ready for
Asuka. And then suddenly
Something.
somebody's music plays. They come out. They have a 4-minute match.
It's
At
also
least
not
we've had
just-
something.
It's not just anyone. This is your women's champion,
Yeah.
who hasn't had a meaningful match for her championship belt in how long at this point?
Yeah, months.
It's okay. They made up for it on Raw. They gave her a nice tag team match.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. That the whole division is tag teams all of a sudden. We went from 0 to everyone is in a tag team. So that's careful what you wish for, Brad.
Yeah. We want tag
Anyway.
teams. Okay, here you go. Everyone is a tag team.
I
Yeah.
had something else that I wanted to say about the match. I can't remember. Probably isn't
About
important.
the pre-show match?
About the pre-show match, I thought I did,
Oh.
but
Yeah, it was a good, just one more opportunity to make Retribution look bad.
yeah, that followed on Raw too. So
Yeah.
just continuing. Anyway, we can talk about that later, but yeah, I agree. If you're gonna throw Ali in there, make him win. Like,
Yes.
at least give
Yeah,
him something.
Why not?
Win something.
Why Morrison? I was confused by that. I didn't really get why him.
Good worker, safe. He's known.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts.
He
Right.
was there.
Yeah, I mean that's
I don't
fair,
know.
but like you're not gonna.
I
Okay,
think
one of our up and comers is out of the match. So what we're gonna do? We're just gonna stick in a safe worker, or actually, do you want to stick in somebody like Ali or Ricochet, who actually needs a bit of good PR just now? You know.
my hypothesis on that is that if you have Ali or Ricochet or Elias even win and get into that title picture, suddenly you have to come up with something for them. And they didn't have anything. Morrison is just he's John Morrison. He's going to go back to
should have
tagging
to.
with The Miz. You should.
But this is the WWE, and they
Exactly.
throw storylines out the window like
Yeah,
Jason
yeah, true.
throws out booger rags. So,
Never
suck
throw them
my-
out. What are you talking about?
yeah, you do. You keep the other ones though.
Oh,
Deputy by.
wash your socks.
Didn't one of our friends used to do that? Had a pile.
Oh yeah. No, those were jizz rags. There was
That's what I mean.
jizz.
The other.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're not
Oh.
snot, there's something else.
Okay. Yeah, that was so ridiculous. Yeah. There's a
No,
mountain
those
of,
were jizz. Right?
Cool.
a
Well
mountain of
picked
jizz
up.
rags next to your bed. You wake
A
up and just
mountain.
add to it rather than throw them out. It's crazy.
I mean,
Anyways,
Oh, I love it. I love
There we
it.
go.
Anyway, let's get into this card. The first match was a chamber,
yeah.
and the music hits, and I was like, oh no, they screwed him again. But no, Sami Zayn comes out and actually got to go into a pod. Didn't get screwed over, so that was a nice start.
yeah. I think this was the better of the two chamber matches, but the problem was it didn't have that big feel to it because they're just going to get fed to Roman Reigns, right? If by winning, so you have this big match. It's all it is get buried by Roman and move on.
Well, unless it was KO. I mean, I still had that feeling, and like,
Well, he went
if
out pretty
KO
quick.
wins, then. But yeah, KO didn't last until the end at all. But I want to hear what you guys thought of this match for sure. Keep it going.
I'm interested to see what they do with this because I now know what's going to happen at Mania, right? But surely you don't let Daniel Bryan win a chamber match without there being something else going on. So is there going to be Roman Bryan at Fastlane? Because
You're right. He's going to have a good. That's a good point. We haven't seen SmackDown yet, but he's going to have a good case. I didn't
course.
think about that. He's going to be like, I won.
so what's
You mean
what
I
are they gonna
deserve
do? Yeah.
something.
I had a rematch clause or something. I
I got to
know,
fight
but-
Cesaro again.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't make sense for him to win after he's lost the last 3 matches he's been in or whatever against Cesaro, and then he wins the chamber. Yeah, he gets beat by Roman. Everybody expected that, but why Daniel Bryan? Why did he win the chamber? Surely there's got to be something for the next month in the build up with the whole Edge thing. Are you going to do something with that? I don't know.
I wonder what the correlation is. How much merch will they sell after he wins that? Even though he lost to Roman, I wonder if there's a correlation there. I'm just curious about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it makes sense,
new
right?
Yes
eco-friendly,
tree. The
yes
tree.
tree
Yeah.
t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to
Tree
get
t-shirt.
Jay and Roman versus
Oh God.
Daniel
don't
and
you say it.
Edge? At
No,
Fastlane?
don't put it in the universe. No tag team matches. No.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that they might do. I don't know, but I found it interesting that it was Daniel Bryan out of all of them. I found it interesting, so I really hope that when we do see SmackDown that they do something with that.
But they can't have a title match at Fastlane, right? Because they kept hyping this as whoever wins this will be at WrestleMania, and you'll be the champion for WrestleMania. So they can't just sneak a match in, can they? Before?
Well,
I
it
guess
might
they
mean
could-
you get
I
you
mean-
get a Mania match no matter what, right? So whether you have the title or you don't, you're in that match. I don't know. It's so weird, but
Well,
Realistically, they can
yeah,
do
I
what they
don't know.
want, can't they?
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking too logically. My bad.
Exactly.
It's a. I'm curious to see what happens Friday, because I agree. Why Daniel Bryan over a Cesaro, who I was genuinely surprised. I really did think he was going to win, or even a KO, even just anybody else. Why specifically Daniel Bryan? Because that's his 3rd Elimination Chamber win. By the way, that puts him up there with like the elites, the Triple H's, the.
Did you think he was gonna win when it was just him and Jay left? I was so excited to get that right. But
I
then
didn't
the
think
thing
Jay was going to win.
No, I mean either because Daniel was selling that knee so much,
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, he's gonna somehow win this and then be super injured and have an excuse for the next match. So I was, whatever. Jay did
that's-
good though. I think Jay is the MVP of that match.
He did good. Yeah.
But like,
3
if
eliminations.
I'm looking at who was in that match, and I could make a shout for every single person in that match
Yeah, they all
to
did.
win it, apart
Cesaro's the
from Daniel
MVP,
Bryan.
though.
Apart from Daniel Bryan.
Cesaro would be the MVP IMO. I mean, obviously Daniel Bryan won, but Cesaro,
I
you could
would
say
agree.
the argument for Jay because of the eliminations, but Cesaro, I think overall performance was the MVP for me.
He got a
European
swing
uppercuts
on Corbin,
all over the
so-
place. Yeah, he got the swing out. That was good.
Stiff.
Very.
Yeah, it actually
Oh,
worked
look-
this time.
We'll get into his swings later. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it like the match
During
itself
what?
was.
When are we going to get to his swing?
Yeah, I was wondering.
I want to talk about SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, I figured.
It was an entertaining match. I agree that I mean the whole time I was a little bit like, okay, what's going to be the point if Roman's just going to come out and crush whoever? And I hope it's not just because they wanted to start the Edge storyline. I hope, there's something in there for Daniel Bryan. If they're going to have Daniel Bryan win, Daniel Bryan hasn't really made a whole lot of waves lately. I mean, he's Daniel Bryan. He's gonna just be popular by virtue of being Daniel Bryan. But yeah, maybe something in the intermediary between now and WrestleMania. That would be nice, at least, to see.
There's a few moments in this. Oh, sorry, it was lagging there for a second. But there's a few moments I want to point out here. Definitely Sammy staying in the pod and not coming out. and he was like holding the door. I don't know if you guys remember that.
And then he
Yeah,
forgets that
yeah.
there's actually another door as well behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. Sammy definitely brought the comic relief to the match for sure. There's a lot of moments there that he delivered on that were just amazing, hilarious. Even though I don't think any of us thought he had a chance to win,
No.
he looked good. He continued his character, and great performance for him for sure. Obviously, Sammy and KO together is just instant gold. Everything that they touch is like your eyes are drawn to it. Sammy bit him on the shoulder. It was
That was great. Yeah.
it's
I think
fighting.
that's the
Oh my
thing.
God.
Like, you watch a match like that, and the thing that I hate most is, and it happened in the other chamber, but not in this one as much, I would say. The thing I hate in these kind of matches is seeing somebody perform who I know is not going to get anywhere. But actually, everybody in that match performed well and looked a bit of a threat, even if they weren't. If I thought, no, they're not going to win, they all looked a threat to at least somebody else in the chamber, which is what you want, right?
And yeah, in the end, we all knew they would go on to face Roman and probably lose. We all chose that in our choices, but I don't mind that. But you're right; it did affect this match in a way I didn't think it necessarily would, and it did. But I was able to forget about that while I was watching it in moments, even though
Yeah, for sure.
and that's just a credit to those guys. And like when KO's arm was in the chamber and he was just slamming the door into it, that looked brutal. That one looked like it fucking hurt. And then he gave him the super kick while his arm was trapped. That was sick. So Jey Uso, and KO there, Jo together. Those two together, put them in a tag team. They're fucking sick. I like them both.
It was also it made sense because it was hard to believe that Kevin Owens wouldn't win this match, given that he's been sort of really almost like electrified during this feud. We all sort of agreed that at the beginning of the feud he was just not there, but that match at Royal Rumble, that was vintage KO, at the risk of sounding like Michael Cole. So if they weren't going to have him win that match, they made Jey Uso brutalize him, absolutely brutalize him. So it's like, of course he's going to take the pinfall at that point.
Yeah.
So I was okay with that.
Anything else you guys want to say about that match in particular?
No, but I mean, like Jordan said, everyone did an amazing job. Like the match itself was great. I don't want to bury the match itself. Everyone did a great job, but it's just an unfortunate what it was leading to. I wasn't as into it, but they did so well that I did enjoy it still.
Yeah.
What would
So
you
you
give it,
didn't-
Jason? Out of 10?
Oh, yeah.
Just the match.
Yeah.
7.5.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So that's a nice score. Sorry, Wax, cut you off there.
No, I was going to say, I was going to move on to the NAM saying, is it worth it to really go into detail about the next match, which was Roman
Tag match.
Roman crushing Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Like I that barely qualifies as a match for me. I don't know if anyone had something.
It's
To...
true. I didn't write down any notes about it.
There was a slight moment of shock when
It was a good moment.
when
Yeah.
he went for the spear.
That was good.
And
You're right.
He reversed
The
it
first-
into the
yes
what
lock.
was it?
The yes lock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
yes, you put him in that thing.
That,
Michael
that,
Cole?
that pure mad move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get paid millions to talk, right? I do this for
Really?
free. But yeah, like when I
You guys
saw
do?
that, I thought when I saw that, I was like, wow, this might go. Oh no, never mind. But for a brief
Mark.
second, I thought, nice. That's pretty
Because you're a
cool.
mark.
Yeah, pretty much.
The big dog. But then,
But
pretty interesting match. Pretty interesting outcome, Jason.
What?
What happened next?
You mean the next match?
Yeah.
Was it a tag match?
No.
No. There's a U.S. title match.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the U.S. title match. Who got that right? Who did I say? I said Lashley, I guess, right?
I said Riddle.
I think I said
Check.
Lashley
Who
too.
said what?
Who said
Jordan
what?
said Riddle. Jason, Brad, and Wax all said Lashley. Only
Wow.
one person chose Riddle, and it wasn't even his
Um,
biggest stan.
I like how it played out. Lashley, they really wanted to get that off Lashley quick and transition to the main event clearly. and they did it in a good way, I guess. You know, he kind of got not screwed, but because you're allowed to cheat, but he still, you know, hit him with the. What was it? Well, with his cane, with his crutch.
Crutch. Yeah.
That exploded, by the way. It was sick.
It was a great hit, amazing hit, and it just felt
He
good.
broke it in half.
I
He broke it in half over his back. He should have. There should have been a better call with it.
I love the ending, and it was a great way to quickly do something that maybe shouldn't be done quickly, but whatever. You want to get it done quick, that's the way to do it. It was good.
The only thing that annoyed me about it was that Lashley was in shot for the pin, and he wasn't like, he was just kind of like outside. Like, if he was out of shot, it would be like, he's dead, he's away in a corner somewhere. But the fact that he was there, I could see he probably could have gotten in the ring to break up that pin, but that's just a very minor gripe. Other than that, the match was class.
Yeah, and they clearly like Riddle. They clearly have big plans for the bro.
What a turnaround. I remember when he started, and we're like, is he going to even be on SmackDown with everything that's happening? And now, wow. Crazy.
Yeah. And it keeps the legitimacy in the U.S. title, because Lashley holding it was legitimate, right? He's a big monster, and Riddle is a strong opponent for anybody. Absolutely.
He's funny.
He's funny. He's he's kind of fun. He's pretty funny.
Like in a dumb way, not like
in a dumb way, exactly. Yeah. In a way that kids would enjoy, which is, that's what matters.
I enjoy it. Well, you call me a kid?
Yes.
I'm in for Riddle. I'm glad he's the champion. I think it's going to be a fun title run. I enjoy his
title run.
Bat,
Stoner
illusions. The illusions that he makes to batting, I think, are excellent comedy for me.
Kind of
Delusions of
Glandular.
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 The glandular
noble
problem.
steed. He flips off the flippers. Oh, that's great. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And I like where it's going now. We'll talk about it later on Raw. But
speaking of glands, when Keith Lee comes back, does he jump into a feud with Riddle? I don't know why I said speaking of glands, but
he's definitely going to be like...
He has some.
I know why.
Yeah.
He's going to get one of those slow conversations with them, and he's going to have a talking with them, and they'll definitely have a little fight. Jump down for it.
Let's have a fight.
Riddle. I'm drew a title match against you. My name is Keith Lee, and I am limitless. I don't know what's just happened for the last 30 seconds.
Anyways,
limitless.
We jump into the next Elimination Chamber. And it starts off with everybody coming
Wasn't
out.
there was a tag match before that.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Maybe we should just forget about that, because...
I have no notes on it either.
No, we have to talk about it.
Pile of pish.
We have to talk about it, yeah.
Why? Because, Reggie was involved. Reggie hands the bottle to Alexa Bliss, to Sasha Banks. She's like,
so it turns out he used to be a circus performer. I didn't know. I was looking into him, and
no wonder.
Cirque du Soleil, I think.
Cirque du Soleil type thing, but like the St. Louis version of that.
The
He was
St. Louis
du Soleil, Cirque de St. Louis.
Cirque du Soleil.
Hanging out with
that's why
hanging out with Randy
I looked it up
Orton.
because I was like, his accent is terrible. Where's this man from? And I was like,
I like it though. It's like gimmicky, over the top, like cartoonish. I like it.
No, because he loses it.
Yeah, but whatever.
Halfway through.
If you keep it the whole time, fine. But when you lose the accent, it's broken.
They'll do a Kofi Kingston with him, because Kofi, when he showed up, he had the Jamaican accent. Dropped it. Reggie will drop it in under a year, if he's still around in under a year. But this is a silly match. I could go on a Stephen A. Smith rant about the women's division. We had a tag team that just won the Dusty Rhodes Classic for a shot at the tag team titles. An actual tag team, not two singles competitors who are like, we're friends, let's tag team up. No, an actual tag team that has been built up, that has gone through numerous matches together, and it says, okay, let's team these people up, let's give them a chance some point in the future. We're in the future.
Yeah.
Where's the match?
So, I'm sure we'll get onto this at some point in talking about Raw and SmackDown, but on Raw this week, or last night, or whenever the hell it was. What day is this? Tuesday.
Last
There we
night.
go. It was last night. There we are. Lovely. Some of that roof must have fell on my head. They said on Raw, oh yep, you've got Naomi and Lana here. They're due a title shot against the champs. Oh yeah, but also remember there's the other tag team in NXT. They're due a title shot. But what we're going to show you is Charlotte and Asuka versus the champ. And I'm like, what is happening
Bloody
here? Like,
hell. Bloody hell.
so yeah, and then this is just a match in a pay-per-view that is just another two singles competitors that are actually against each other for some reason in a tag title shot. But again, you've got two tag teams that are apparently about to have a match. I don't get it. We're going to get into it later, but this match was just utter pish. So yeah,
It was just to extend, I think, Reginald's relationship with Sasha.
which
Like now-
I also don't understand. And why is Carmella just like, I no bother? Yeah,
No,
it's all good.
she threw the drink in his face.
I'd be smashing the glass in his eye. Never mind,
Okay, well,
just
I
throwing
mean,
a.
that's a little extreme.
It really, yeah, the story obviously doesn't make any sense. Her
sucks.
reactions don't make any sense. He's clearly with her, all over her, out during her match, etc. So it just, and she just treats him normally. Or it's supposed to be like she didn't know that he was there.
No, they had.
She's like, "Where were you?"
Yeah, she said, "You don't think I saw you out there?" And
Yeah.
then he's like, "Oh, I guess you did." And then she's like, "I'll get you some wine." And then she's like, "This sucks," and throws it in his face. It was okay. At least it was
No.
something. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
It's not
talking about
enough. It's not enough.
I hope it
Well,
got.
no,
I just, yeah, whatever.
something.
It's whatever. I mean, the whole thing we already know is not great, but hopefully they do something with him.
I'm just really confused. I don't know what's going on. Sasha, is
Yeah.
she fighting Bianca? Is she just gonna be a tag team with her forever? I guess they'll turn
Which
on
they
each
would
other.
be a good tag team, but then don't have them involved in the title
Ah.
picture. If you want to
Yeah.
have her like mentor her and they could come up as a sick tag team, do it.
I
I
think
said
my problem with all of that is that I don't know. I know Bianca is face, but I don't know what Sasha is. Is she
That's what I
face
said.
or is she heel? I don't get what's going on.
she
and
should have
that's-
turned on her. I'm like, the only way to save this
That
horrible
would've
match
worked,
before it
yeah.
started is if Sasha fully turns on Bianca and says, "You think you can step up to the boss? And you think I was gonna be nice to you, be in a tag team with you, give you a shot?" It's like, get out of here! Like, and that would have been or whatever, and it would have been great.
Blah blah blah.
But instead,
Yeah, too much
Yeah.
time spent on that match. Move on.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, I just before the last
Oh.
thing I want to say about tag teams. If you're gonna put two people together, if let's say okay tomorrow, Jordan and Waxman, you're now a tag team. The first thing you do is try to come up with a name.
Dirty Dogs. Ah, shit. it's
Jordan and
taken.
Sorry,
Waxman
too.
together would be Wax and or
Ren and Stimpy.
We could be.
Dorman.
We could be the Scottish Snakes. No, I don't know.
The
See, but that's
sexy
what I'm
muscle
saying, right?
friends. Ah, that's taken too.
It's got to happen. You have to create a gimmick together and unify it. The Iconics. It doesn't even have to be good.
Because
It
they're
just
an
has to be
actual
something.
team. They came
But
in as
anyone,
a team.
if you're going to be together, you have to give yourself a name for it to. The Super Friends, like we've seen these things come together.
Sexy muscle friends. How about
That's
that?
all you need is something,
Even-
right?
Yeah.
It
Or
works.
the hug and the boss and hug connection.
Boston Hug
That's what it-
Connection.
It's horrible, but it's a name.
Yeah.
But it,
I
it
even
made you
liked,
understand that when they're
yeah.
together, they're a tag team.
The bar, like, and you could do it with two singles competitors. The Bar was a great tag team.
There we
We
go.
are the bar.
But they became great when they became the bar.
when they became
Up
the bar.
until
Yes.
the
that,
bar. Yeah.
Sheamus and Cesaro, Sheamus and Cesaro.
Like
Oh,
Dirty
now they're the
Dogs.
bar.
I'm all
Dirty
in on
Dogs.
those dirty dogs.
Dirty
Let's go.
Dogs. Now we're bothered.
I
Now
love,
like,
yeah.
Now I, want
I think the
Dirty Dogs
name's
shirt. Like,
stupid,
let's go. I don't care.
but I
Like,
love the team.
it's
Those
stupid.
are two of my
It
faves
fits
right
them
in there.
because
so.
they're stupid like guys.
idiots.
Like
Stupid
in the
guys.
show. He's like Dolph Ziggler's
They're
kind of an
stupid
idiot on the
guys.
show. Like he's not like like he's kind of
Jordan's
a dummy.
not buying any of this.
He
I'm-
is.
Yeah.
Jordan,
I
you
just
don't like your
no
dog
socks.
dirty?
No shares in the Dirty
I
Dogs.
like a clean dog. You
no
know?
stonks.
I think I'm my opinion.
I have seen
on
you have many a
tag
dirty
teams-
dog, my friend.
Yeah, I've had dirtier things than dogs. my opinion of tag team wrestling, and I'm going to be holier than thou, is tainted by AEW, which is just phenomenal on every possible level when it comes to tag teams. So
I will say it's good on NXT too.
NXT.
But
Yeah,
the
true.
whole story is Vince McMahon apparently is not a fan of tag team wrestling. That's what I.
Why is
that's
everyone
what
in
I-
a tag team?
I don't know, because they need to get more people on the screen. But it's
He's like,
just.
what? It's not good enough. You want tag teams? Everyone's in a tag team. We'll have champions fighting other tag teams.
Next
We'll
week
have
is
every-
me
like-
and Shane
like that.
versus Linda and Stephanie.
Sexy I quit match.
And then we're all fired.
Maybe it's Teddy Long who's actually running the show with all the
Yeah.
tag team matches.
Loads of tag
Teddy.
teams.
He's got
He used to always
legs.
come out and do that bullshit. He's like,
Tonight's
"Let's go
main
get
event,
tag team
it's
match."
going to be a tag team match. Holla, holla, holla.
He just-
Holla, holla.
He just dances and leaves, and you're just like,
I'm not a
this.
fan. Like I like tag team wrestling, like Jordan said, when it's good and it's actual teams
Yeah.
and they have rivalries and they have, dreams of becoming the champions. But when it's just thrown together tag team matches, there's nothing I hate more than these thrown together tag team matches. They're the worst.
Yeah. Agreed. Maybe
So
me
we move
and
on to the
Jason
next,
could be a tag team.
You,
There you go.
you guys should be a tag team.
Yeah, we could be
Ren and
the,
Stimpy.
I'll do. I like
The
that.
shitheads. Ah, that's not PG.
The cunts.
Oh, ooh.
The Cants.
It-
So we move on to the next Elimination Chamber. And of course, everyone comes out, and I think great moment in the beginning with Randy posing in front of Sheamus's face. Is so I just had to laugh at that.
Maybe
sounds
that's
great.
why Sheamus was turned around the rest of the way through.
You
He's like, I don't
you
want
wanna
to take
look
a
at
chance of
that
seeing that
beautiful
again.
body
Just
anymore
the-
or not?
the
He get the
image of
Viper out of his.
The
Randy's,
Viper in his trunks.
Randy's bulge. It just
Yeah, exactly.
burning in his retinas. Like,
Sheamus didn't look away. To his credit, he just stared right into its
I see
eye.
Randy's bulge.
If I look away, he wins.
direct contact with it. Like, come on, let's go. Let's do this. Me and you. Let's go. Show me that
My
bulge.
God, what's he gonna
Yeah.
do with that bulge?
This is all legal.
Never seen it like that. What's he gonna do with it?
Class.
Vintage. So I mean, this one obviously. It was also okay. It was good. It was serviceable, but it wasn't as good as the other one. I would say. What do you guys think?
Nah, the match was fine. It was. It wasn't as good. Yeah, you're right. I think you had some very. What am I trying to say here? It was very much like the Elimination Chamber that we had with Kofi Mania, and they said that over and over again. Oh, is it Kofi Mania 2.0? No, of course it's not. That was stupid. It was fine. Like, there was some hard hits, and there was, a
Oh,
lot of-
Sheamus and
it was
Drew were
pretty-
stiff.
Yeah, it was
Those
pretty
were
stiff.
They were punching
but
each other in the head at the beginning there. Like,
I didn't really, I wasn't bought in, I don't think. And then, I don't know why, I mean, I think I just knew what was going to happen. So, I don't know.
I mean, I'll say they did a good job of me feeling like Sheamus was a real presence. When he was looking away and they're hyping up him coming out, and I actually felt like, oh wow, Sheamus could do some damage. Maybe he will win just for a second. Like, they did a good job of building Sheamus back into the main event guy that he was.
Yeah, but they built him,
Yep.
they built him up until the point they actually entered the match.
Yeah.
Like, the minute he entered the match and he started fighting, I was like, oh, he's got no chance.
Let me, on a side note, real quick, how do you guys feel about, like, I think it happened in this instance too, when two guys, you're getting the anticipation's building for them to like meet up, if it's like a tag match or if he's running in from the back and they run at each other and just like punch like this, like just quick punches, like at the same time they're both punching each other really quickly in the face, like for 10 seconds straight, and no one's selling. It's just like, what do you guys think of that? As a,
I don't mind
I'm tired
it.
of that.
It's classic.
I don't mind it.
I'm done with it.
Especially in this
Dumb.
instance, it was stiff shots. It looked good.
But no one's
But it's
selling
what
it.
comes next. What comes next?
Why can't it be more like back and forth and like oh instead of just like they're just wailing away and no one sells any of it? I don't know.
They do that though.
What?
They do
They
like
normally
that.
do that a
I
little
think,
bit.
I think it divulges into that.
Ooh,
Yeah.
It does, but it always starts with the punches that don't
Yeah,
hurt.
you're right. I don't
don't know.
mind it. Like, it's.
I don't know. Big comical punches like one after the other doesn't look very good either.
It's just a nitpick. But anyways, continue.
Maybe there's a different way. Clothesline, get up, move. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's got to be some
something.
sort of different pacing. Yeah, I understand that. I don't know. I liked it in this instance, but I could definitely understand that. And
Yeah, you'll notice it all the time now. Like if you say a color and a type of car, you're just gonna see it all the time.
yeah, maybe the same thing will happen to me. But overall, there were still some cool moments. I think. Drew obviously always comes up with unique, different kind of things to do, and with Jeff Hardy, what they did there was pretty cool, and then also that winning with that insane Claymore,
Yeah.
I thought was really cool. But we knew it was kind of coming, or we kind of felt like it was coming, but it was a pretty awesome finish.
Yeah, it was. It didn't drag on long either. It just like boom.
Yeah.
I will say, yeah, that's what made the match a little more enjoyable for me. I think it was still, the weaker chamber match, like Jordan touched on. As much as I like the personnel on SmackDown more, I like a lot more of the superstars on SmackDown. I think the main event picture on Raw is a lot more clear. So for me, now with the current title picture being as it is, there's 7 or 8 guys on Raw who you could realistically throw in that and say, okay, this person can stand up to the current champion, who I won't mention yet because I know we're going to talk about it.
Bring us into it. What happened after Drew hits that insane Claymore?
Well, of course, what happened after Drew hits the insane Claymore, the chamber lifts, and Jason, as the one who pointed out, it lifted very fast. So you knew some fuckery was abound. And
pull the rope faster.
One thing that's important to note is that just before the match, you saw The Miz talking to MVP. And in my head, I called it immediately. Okay, Lashley's going to come out, attack Drew McIntyre. The Miz is going to cash in. And then The Miz owes the Hurt Business a favor. And what happened? That's exactly what happened. Lashley came out, beat the shit out of Drew McIntyre. I think it's Simon Miller from What Culture who always refers to Lashley as the most protected man in the WWE. And yes, Lashley is one of the strongest looking, but he's also one of the strongest people in the WWE. He is an absolute beast. So of course, when you go through an attack from Lashley, it's good. You're going to be destroyed, especially after you just went through the Elimination Chamber. And so yeah, the Miz comes out, gets a near fall, then he actually gets the pin. It's done. Miz is the champ, which I actually quite liked. It kind of saved the show for me.
He's an MMA fighter too. He'll legit kill you.
Absolutely.
He's terrifying, man.
I didn't like him at all until Hurt Business, and I don't even mean like I didn't like his character. I just didn't care about him. Like he didn't interest me positively or negatively. And now that he's in Hurt Business, I'm genuinely interested in some of the stuff that he's doing. And now that he's in the kind of main title picture, it fits better than a US title. And with that, I'm just more interested in seeing him in with the other, big dogs on Raw. So
I think we have a very real chance of seeing the WrestleMania match being Lashley versus Drew for the title.
What about Miz?
I mean, Miz can weasel his way out, for sure. If there's one thing I know, Miz will find his way out of the match. He'll find a way to win, and that's why that match is still believable. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Lashley versus Drew. You have face versus heel. You have the faction around Lashley, which makes it a lot more believable. Gives Lashley the mouthpiece. MVP, one of the best talkers in the game right now. Yeah, it could be a good match.
I thought that until I watched Raw. And we'll get onto it, but I have a different theory about where this is going.
Yeah,
but
please.
We'll discuss it. We'll finish what we're talking about first, and we'll move on to it.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley. I'm very happy where he is at now. Like you said, being in the Hurt Business helped a lot to build character and purpose, and that insane killer look that he has in his eyes now when he just destroys people brings it even further. And
the Hurt Lock.
I mean, the Hurt Lock, which is great. And obviously he looks the part, and no one would think otherwise if he kicks everyone's ass. It's like, that's probably how it should go. So I'm happy where he's at. The only thing is, like, it was cool that he beat up Drew McIntyre and everything, but it's like this guy's destroying your world champion after an Elimination Chamber match in the middle of the ring, and not one person gives
where's the
a
refs?
shit.
Where's like the
No
20
refs,
refs that usually come out
nobody.
and like
It looked like a hit job. Like everyone was like it was planned. Like everyone's in on it. Adam Pearce, Vince McMahon's like, get him. It's like, I don't know. Everyone just not there. Like, no one's here. It's, like,
It's
what
so
the hell?
stupid.
I kind of don't like just real quick. I don't like the 20 refs coming out and Pat Buck comes out. And
Don't like that?
Sometimes they even have the other wrestlers in the
that.
locker room come out and break them up. I'm like,
love it.
why does Dolph Ziggler, for example, care about what's going on between Shlomo and Beavis?
Shlomo.
Wow, those new Retribution members. Slow-mo. No, I agree with you
Slow-mo
there. It is
roasting.
stupid when they
I don't
send
know.
out certain wrestlers that you don't think would
Yeah.
care, but they should be sending
It's a
out
face
people
with a
that are in
face.
charge.
It's okay. I mean, if you're a face wrestler
Yeah,
and a
if
bunch
they're-
of
if it
jobber
make
face
sense.
guys come out, that's fine.
But get someone out there, security or someone, protect your
Yeah, but you're right
Yes.
though.
champion.
It can't be Ziggler because he would never give a fuck.
No.
Yeah, like
but it
get
doesn't have
guys
to be
out there
wrestling.
who it's realistic that they would
Like
care
they-
about the
Yes.
overall
Their
harmony
logic
of
now,
the locker room.
they send out Baron Corbin to come out and save somebody
yeah,
and be like,
Baron
"Oh,
Corbin
why
doesn't
do
give
I
a
have to do
shit.
this?"
Of course not.
Just send out a couple of refs and
Baron Corbin would go in
the-
and push one of the guys from behind and say he did it. And
Yeah.
it gets out.
send out a couple of refs and the Irish guy. What's his name again?
Pat Book.
Fit Finley.
Fit Finley.
Fit Finley,
He's
yeah.
always cutting about in a suit somewhere. So
Well, you know what would have been sick?
But he likes
They
to
just-
fight. No, I'm kidding.
yeah,
Exactly.
maybe
they
that's
just-
why nobody comes out because he's like, nah, let it go. Let's do it.
No, it could have just been the Miz and Morrison in gorilla position or whatever, and they're just like holding the refs back or something.
Yeah.
Like something.
Show me
anything.
that. Show me Morrison in the back
Show me that
causing
they
a commotion.
care.
He knocked over a bucket and they can't get
He's
around it because
doing his
like
parkour.
stormtroopers.
I mean, in this
no.
particular case, it would make more sense if
Like
it's,
NPCs
if
running
it's
into a wall.
the Hurt Business
Yeah.
are standing.
Yes. Okay, you're right.
The
Even
Miz
better.
could have
In
commissioned the
in
Hurt
this case,
Business.
it
That's
would
great.
make sense. So you've got Bobby kicking the
It
living
makes it
shit
so much more
out of,
believable, and that's what
Drew.
is.
Makes it
That's
so much
the
more
whole point.
epic.
And then you've
the
got the
whole
tag
point.
champions just holding back refs or something. I don't know.
Amazing. Yeah.
Just
But,
back
do
Adam
what
Pearce by
Do
himself.
what Roman did. Throw them into a light. Apparently that literally kills
Just
them.
one hand, like
So-
toss him into it like he was a bug. Just
Yeah,
one
exactly.
hand.
And they literally die.
That man didn't move for the rest of the match.
He
He's-
fucking
And no one
yanked him,
checked
though.
on him.
Haven't-
no one
haven't
cares.
seen him in a-
Yeah,
in
they
a-
care about their employees.
Yeah. I haven't seen
They
a
don't
ref a
care.
match since.
Why can't they
still
care
there.
about their employees? Why?
One of these matches where they go in the back and you can see that body still there. They're like, oh shit,
He's still there. He's still there.
dirty body.
Just
Hasn't
like a white
moved. Just-
outline, chalk
just a s-
outline of where this guy was.
Just a
But,
skeleton.
The cash in still a cheap pop that gets me every time. So I still felt really cool. Like it's cool that the Miz is champ.
Yeah.
It's definitely
so-
not in the top cash-ins ever at all. But it was
No,
an entertaining moment at the end
was
of a
very textbook.
semi-entertaining pay-per-view.
Textbook.
So great.
I do think there needs to be a way where they've. And I know that the point of this one was he announced he was kind of going to do it, but the best ones are the ones that you're like, oh, what a good match that was. Oh, what the hell's that? And out comes this guy and cashes
A good
in.
match.
Yeah, exactly. I want to literally just be about to leave the room because I
Yeah,
think
and
that's
we were
it,
just waiting.
and then suddenly something happens.
We were
you know?
waiting for it this time. We're like, where is it? Oh, there it is.
Especially
They
when-
wouldn't toss up the
especially
logo.
when the thing
Give me
goes
that
up
logo
that
in the
quick.
bottom right-hand corner because
Yeah.
when that comes up, it's like, oh shit, it's over. But
Absolutely.
then have it keep going. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, they used to do that all the time, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
Pop
that's
that
good.
logo into my face, and I'm like, oh fuck this, and I'm about to get up, and
That's
then all of a
it,
sudden
yeah.
something happens.
I'm going for a pish.
And if you missed it, you're a loser.
Yeah.
Loser. You're a loser.
Like when Michael
Why do you
Scott
thi-
sees the cargo by the Scranton Strangler. You
Why
missed
do you
it. You
think-
missed it. I saw.
Why do you think they don't send people out? Are they not allowed to like have people in big groups together, like the backstage people, or because of COVID and everything, or you know, like
they have
used to send
catering
out
and
mass
everything back
amounts
there
of.
still.
They have Gatorade. What?
Catering.
Oh, catering.
Gatorade.
I heard Gatorade too.
Gatorade.
They got Gatorade back there, so
H2O.
you know, anything goes.
Yeah.
Catering. Catering.
Anyways, I think we're done with Elimination Chamber. Overall, I would give the pay-per-view 6.0.
So 6. Okay.
6.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, again, not a classic pay-per-view. It's not one I'm going to remember. Had some nice moments, but it's certainly not a classic.
No.
What number? Give me a number.
I would also go around 6.2.
Oh, I was going to say 6.2.
Wow.
I mean-
a bunch of sixes.
I if how we graded is a pass is a 60, right? Pass is a 6, so I got to go with like a 6.4 here. I did think I enjoyed that first chamber match a lot, and the rest of the card was okay. The last one was entertaining. It was an entertaining one overall. I left satisfied, minus the shortened card. I'll give it a 6.4.
I'd say 2 of the matches were good. The Riddle match and the first chamber.
That might be the. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
The tag team match was pish. The Roman match isn't really a match, and the last chamber match was okay. That's what I would say.
And the Roman match still gave us a little jolt, which was great. It was.
We need to see SmackDown
Give
Friday
us a little
to
something.
see the full brunt of it. But go ahead, Jordan.
What up? Yeah.
Me? What have I done?
Yeah, I thought you were
me a
trying to
number.
talk.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you already
I
did.
was just
Yeah, he gave
making
his number.
faces.
Shut up,
Oh,
Jordan.
okay.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Then stop talking.
Can I just run through SmackDown super quick? And if you want to stop me at any point and talk about it, and like super quick, I wrote notes about it.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
He's got notes.
Because Edge, SmackDown was before.
Can't read the notes, but he's what?
That's my first note. Anyways, like on SmackDown, I thought Edge was absolutely fantastic to open the show, as he has been stellar since he's come back. He's just talking like he's conscious and a smart thinking person. And it's great. Really logical.
He's an actor. He has taken acting lessons. He has been in stuff, and it shows.
So
he knows his
believable.
character. He understands other
believable.
people's characters better than they understand it, and he's helping them.
Exactly. Speaking of which, he dissected Roman Reigns really well. That's a great promo. And also how Sami Zayn came and interrupted it, and Roman never looked at Sami, kept his eyes on what mattered.
Perfect.
And then Jey Uso just dismissive kick to the face. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. I love Sammy still. I want him involved in everything because he gives me a laugh, and he deserves everything.
And good camera work because he got kicked, he fell down, then they cut away and cut back, and there was only like his shoe in the ring. It's like, where'd he go? He just swung him out of the ring. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. And shout out to Big E. He was outside the ring, just chilling, eating like one of those microwavable dinners on a couch with a foot bath.
Oh, yeah.
The foot bath was
Better than-
amazing.
I think that's a meal from catering, though. I think,
Big
or like
E.
one of those like fancy meals.
Yeah. Man, I hope that's
He's
not
a
from
champ,
catering.
man. He's a champ.
But yeah, Big E, smart and logical. He was talking to the announce team, and they were saying like, "Are you scared of Apollo? Are you going to fight Apollo again?" And he's like, "What are you guys talking about? How many times I got to beat this guy? How many times do I do the same match over and over and over and over again?"
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, go talk to the people in the back. Yeah, you're right. Let's get that. He's like, "I want Shinsuke. He's a living legend. Let me move on." Beautiful.
Big E versus Shinsuke.
Amazing.
Give me that.
But at the same time, I love what Apollo is doing, hanging around. It makes sense for him to want to keep having the match. And the feud, but how intense it got between him and Big E was very good. I liked it. The only thing was a little much is like he dropped the stairs on him outside, and now Big E's getting stretchered off. Didn't he get stretchered off like a couple months ago because of Sheamus? He keeps getting stretchered off all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder
But
if
that was
we'll
when
ever
he got dropped in a car, so...
I wonder if we'll ever see sort of because a few weeks ago Apollo was in with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was just like a coaching session or if there was something more there. And are we ever going to see that, or is it just it was sort of a nothing thing?
A smart way to bring it together is we figure out the reason why Apollo keeps getting chance after chance after chance after chance, because the head of the table is pulling the strings for him.
That would be nice. That would be a great
right.
explanation.
You are a visionary.
Exactly. I love Seth. Great promo, but I just don't care about his shtick anymore, so it doesn't really matter to me. And also Cesaro looked kind of dumb because he didn't come out and do anything after Seth, made him look like an idiot the week before. But whatever. Alas. Oh yeah, and then they come back from a commercial and they randomly have a match that started. They didn't announce it. They didn't have any entrance or anything. It just started.
That's the dumbest thing. Like,
I hate it.
No, I never seen that before. It was just the match started. I don't think I missed
We've talked
introductions
about
or
that. No, we've talked about it on here before. I think where this has happened.
Really?
You come
Yeah.
back and there's just a match on.
There's a match.
Okay. Well, I mean, shout out to Mina because she got rid of that 100-layer biker jacket that she used to wear when she wrestled, and it was sleeveless now, so 100% better, just aesthetically, just from that. And immediately, Tamina and Natty knock out Billy Kay's dumbass for messing up their match. So the Riot
Hey.
Squad stays losing and stays looking dumb. I don't know what they're doing with them. They just make them worse
They
every
lost
week.
to Tamina and Natty
And they look like idiots.
in
every week.
pathetic fashion.
One of the
And there's a
only
tag
legitimate
team. That's the worst part.
women's tag teams.
But hey, I will not take any Billy Kay slander on my podcast.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like,
Yes.
kayfabe-wise, they should knock
I
her
know,
ass
I
out.
know,
Like,
I know. Yes,
Yeah.
Billy Kay
But,
is a comedy character.
Yeah, shout out Baron Corbin, the new Ric Flair, with his $39,000 timepiece.
King Corbin to you.
I got
Timepiece?
too many notes here. Let me just wrap it up.
No,
Was
you can
anyone
keep going.
wondering, by the
Tell us
way,
what you-
where his Knights of the King were?
No,
went?
they've been gone.
Knights
They're
of the
gone
Realm.
forever. They're gone
One of
forever.
them was released. That's why.
Oh, really?
God.
Yeah,
Which
one of
one?
them was released. Cutler. Cutler was released. Wesley Blake. I don't know what they're gonna do with them, but it would be kind of weird to have just one knight. Be like, here's my
yes.
one knight of the court or something like
The
that.
whole
Whatever it was called.
kingdom.
Again,
This
the
guy.
Forgotten Sons have been forgotten permanently because one
don't
of them's
think-
been released.
I don't think Wesley Blake, poor guy, I don't think he can be any more forgotten. First, the Forgotten Sons had a push, and then one of them became a Trump, like a big Trump MAGA
Yeah.
freak. Then
he
that
should
guy's
run
having
with
more
that. That's his
success than
You know
him.
what? Bring back Blake and Murphy. Like
Yes.
they were a tag team in NXT, and they held the NXT
They were good.
titles.
Yeah.
They were good. Like I'm pretty sure they were on the card when we went to see NXT in Glasgow. So, like
Murphy doesn't need that like weird, creepy predator gimmick.
he doesn't need to be a sex pest.
No.
No.
Get him in a tag team and bring him back. Why not? Let's come on. I'd watch that. I wouldn't watch him being a sex pest.
No.
There we go.
Sorry, go on, Jason.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm almost done. I'll just go through these notes. Nia and Shayna suck so much on the mic. More fighting, less talking. I don't know if Sasha's supposed to be face, but I want her to lose so bad that I hope she becomes a heel so I can finally be on the
I would
right
have
side.
punched her in the face.
Stupid 6-person tag match. Carmella doesn't care.
Carmella.
Her man is just out there with her enemy. Okay.
Yep.
Bailey's fighting in street clothes and socks. Pish. Otis and Gable DQ after another random 5-count trash finish that no one knew why the match was over. Can someone please announce it? Where's the ring announcer? Where's someone to tell us what just happened? But I do like Otis and Gable kind of going towards that heel turn, the
Yes,
delusional,
me too.
Yeah.
delusional, like do-gooder. Kurt
And I
Angle
want them to beat
vibes.
the Mysterios, so it's good for me.
Yeah, and then I think this is when I learned about the tag match that was happening on Elimination Chamber. I just wrote, "Fuck off, Sasha and Bianca." Fuck off, Sasha and Bianca tag team title match. I just saw it and I was like, "Fuck that! I don't want to see that."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do I want? Oh yeah, they're pushing right now. Apollo being Nigerian royalty.
Yeah, what's that?
What is
about?
that?
Oh, for real? I didn't.
Yeah,
when did they
he
say
mentioned
that?
he was like, yeah, my ancestry
Multiple
is
times. He said it.
Nigerian.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian ancestry, and then they cut to commentary, and commentary's like, yeah,
yeah.
he's Nigerian royalty, and they start talking about it more. And I don't know. I thought that was
weird.
that was
Yeah.
also interesting, right?
Yes.
I still feel like Apollo's holding back a lot. Like he's definitely not ready to be a heel, or he's not fully invested in this heel character yet. Like it's still developing.
Getting there.
You can just see it in his face, like he's still not there yet. So
That's because
hopefully
I
he can
don't
go
think
like full
he was
heel. but-
fully there as a face, and I think most
Yeah.
good heels
He was
have
just
had a
there.
run as face.
He was
and,
a super nice guy, so he needs to go the complete opposite. And his nice guy character seems to be like it's him.
yeah,
So him
yeah.
going this opposite direction is probably really hard for him because it's the complete opposite of who he is. It seems like he's really out of his comfort zone, and it's starting to build. So hopefully it can keep going, but you can tell he's not there yet.
I didn't realize he was 6'1". I thought he was short. He's
He's
a
the same height
big
as me.
dude.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's jacked and he's
Yeah.
tall. I was like, what? I didn't realize that.
Wow.
Push him to the moon.
To the moon.
At least
Yeah,
the
I guess
Kiss my grits.
Riot Squad lost clean.
Yeah.
The Riot Squad lost clean.
Yeah, like it was a classic tag match, just 2 versus 2, and they lost clean. Like, what is this? Like, I'm glad that teams are fighting and they're able to lose clean, or win clean. But it was just such a weird choice, right? Like, why are Natty and Tamid together, and why are they getting a clean win over the
It
Riot
wasn't
Squad?
clean. Billy was involved.
Yeah.
She was on commentary though. She wasn't in the finish.
She was like
but wasn't she in there?
distracting, you know? She was like cutting about like, sign my shit and all that.
I gotta be honest.
She was at the desk.
I want to see her get put through a table or something. I'm kind of done with her. I don't know. I'm kind of done
Well,
with
it's
her.
because they got to use her in a. She's got to fight. Enough
I
with
think,
the
I
just
think
going around
they're
building.
building to Billy Kay versus Lana at WrestleMania. I think that's going to happen.
Tables
Main
match.
event.
In a
Bull-
tables match, yeah.
Anyway, that was SmackDown.
Iron
Do
Woman match.
Do you guys want to jump into One Good One Pish really quick? Do you guys have time for it? What's the move?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll do a quick one.
Yeah.
One
Let's do it.
good
Quick
one
good.
pish of the week. Sorry, we haven't had a Jason's homework in a while, so you know.
Yeah, we need to get homework for next week. So
Next
James,
week.
look into the note and see if there's any there.
Or your own brain if you have
Or your
one.
brain. Yeah, use your brain.
I don't want to look into my brain. No thanks.
Yeah, fair.
Do you hear voices? Anyway.
One good, one bad. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll do it.
Oh, here he goes.
I think there's something I left out on SmackDown as well, and this can be my bad,
Okay.
but it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in
course.
wrestling. And honestly, when I saw it, I actually fell off my couch and I was laughing. I couldn't believe it. I don't know why. Just the right mix of enough stuff in my system, maybe, but it was hilarious. And it's the
Yeah.
way the camera went and everything. It's simple. Cesaro was trying to do the Cesaro swing on Baron Corbin, and it was going pretty rough at the start. But eventually he got him up just a little bit, and he started to swing a little bit. He was headed towards the corner, and I'm like, where's he going? And he fell. He fell down, almost hit his head on the turnbuckle, and they instantly cut away to commercial without saying a word. They come back from commercial, and there he is in the middle of the ring swinging him perfectly, and Michael Cole says, he's still swinging him. Well, what happened? How did he get off the ground and go to the middle? Are we just going to ignore what happened? It was hilarious. It was so funny. I died. And that's my bad, but it really was great. And, yeah, my good, pretty simple. Miz winning the WWE Championship. Go Miz. Quick.
There we go. Who's next?
I'll go.
Oof. Waxy.
One good. My one good comes from Raw for once. And it's actually kind of a small one. I really like that we got to see, and I don't remember the last time this happened. It could have been very recently, and I just wasn't paying attention. We got to see a tornado tag team match. The Lucha House Party, the Hurt Business. I don't know. I like seeing these like old school gimmick matches come back. I don't remember the last time we saw a tornado tag team match. Half the matches may as well be tornado tag team matches because the tag teams stay in the ring half the time anyway. I kind of like it. It was just the action was going all ends. It was a good match too, and I like that they're pushing the Hurt Business a lot. Obviously, you have Bobby now going up for the world title, but you do still have Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, two excellent wrestlers. Shelton, one of the best of all time in terms of just wrestling ability.
Yeah.
And Cedric, a great up-and-comer, holding the tag titles on Raw right now. And the
forgot
Lucha
they
House
had them.
Party. I know, they're not doing enough with them, but the Lucha House Party was a good match for him.
Yeah.
And I like, I always like Lince Dorado. He wears Raptors ring gear, or Raptor-style ring gear half the time, which is always nice. So I'll give a good for that. My one bad, and I'd like to open the floor to this, came from NXT. It came from the very end of NXT, even kind of after NXT. And it was a match between Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch, the kings of NXT, as well as Kyle O'Reilly. I think it was Finn Balor and Roderick Strong.
Balor.
Kyle O'Reilly took a brain buster onto the steel steps, and it was then reported afterwards that he suffered a seizure, had to be stretchered off. There were then other stories that came out saying this is a work, some saying no, this is real, he has a history of it, he is this, he is that. I don't know. I still don't think we have a full confirmation of whether that was real, whether it was for story. If it was real, I absolutely hope that Kyle will be okay. I think he's fantastic. Canadian and a great wrestler. They seem to be building up a lot, and I wish him only the best in his recovery. If it was a work, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of bringing in a serious medical condition as part of a storyline. So I don't want to say I hope it was real, but I can't put it past the WWE to do something like that if it's not real. And so it's either way it's bad, because either it's bad for Kyle O'Reilly or it's bad for the WWE to do something like that. Sure. That's the way I see it.
I'm super liberal, if you will, with storylines as far I like almost everything like nothing's off limits, but like not really like that. I was like, that's a bit much if that's because people couldn't even really couldn't tell, and I don't know, like it just felt like too much, a seizure. I don't,
Yeah, like it's personal circumstance are always going to play a little bit into the story. Like, you can't predict for everything. And I understand that. So, for example, one of your stars gets pregnant. You play that into the story. I get it. That's fine.
That's a good thing.
But I mean, it is, well, not for everybody. But for most people. But if you were to use, even if it's not real, and they have put it out there that yes, he's had a fit and seizure or whatever because of X, Y, and Z. All they're doing is making light of that type of illness or issue, and I agree with Wax. Like I really hope, in a weird way, that it's not a work. I can't
in a super morbid way. Yeah.
For the company, anyway. For the company, I want it to be, real. In terms of what I want for Kyle, of course, I'd rather it was a work, but at the same time, that doesn't make anybody look particularly good. So I get why it's your bad. It's a weird one, and I don't think we're going to know more until perhaps tomorrow night.
I mean, to be honest, the more we're talking about it, I'm not sure how I feel about it now. I don't know.
I think for me, I'd rather not bring something like that in. No, but the WWE's done it before. They have.
Yeah,
it's not like it came into a funny storyline. It just happened.
It just happened. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be funny though. It's not supposed to be funny.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do it, why just do it randomly?
Because now it's so look, I don't know, it's so believable now, it's tricking everybody.
Yeah, but I guess the
what
thing for me is
it doesn't matter whether it's all we just want him to be is okay. I mean, I don't know.
Of course we want him to be okay, and I hope it's not real, right? Even though it looks bad for the company, obviously we don't want it to be real. But I'm just saying,
is it part of the storyline? Is it directly tied into it?
Yes, that's what I assume. If they,
we don't know. Is the thing.
If it wasn't real, then it's part of the storyline, right?
But then, if it is, why would they not just say it's an injury? He got injured in the match. Done. But
I get it. Doesn't look good. I get it.
But the fact that he has a history of it and stuff is also.
Oh, does he? I didn't know that.
Well, that's what they're saying, but that's the point. We don't know. We don't
I believe he's diabetic, and that's sort of where the.
So, how did you guys feel about
makes it worse.
Drinking problems when those get brought up in storylines for people like Jeff Hardy recently?
But they're not currently suffering from it.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy.
They're currently dealing with it, but they're not. He's not an alcoholic, in terms of. He's an alcoholic, recovering. Yeah, and it's even he's a recovering addict.
The difference there is for lack of a better phrase, and this is unbelievably harsh. Okay. Kyle O'Reilly didn't choose to be diabetic and suffer from seizures.
That's gonna be that's a tough sell on that one.
I know what you mean by that. I definitely know what you mean. We're going down a whole path.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that path.
Dependency
I'm
on
not saying you're
alcohol
wrong.
and drugs is definitely not something that people choose. I understand that, but
Yeah.
I just think that's more. Yeah, I'm going to stop because if somebody does listen to this podcast, and
Like the
hears that,
equivalent of it
that's
is
Yeah.
having a picture of him drunk and being like, look, he relapsed. Oh, disgusting. Now we're going to turn it into a storyline.
But what else came to mind was Gold Dust when he was like, when he got electric
With the
shocked
stutter.
and he was
Yeah.
stuttering. What about that?
But that's so obviously ridiculous.
But
I
again,
know, but
that's,
you're
I think-
mocking it. People deal with that.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
was
but
a
it's
product,
different.
It's a product of its time, isn't it? Like we know it's not okay now, so we don't do it.
And it's in like a super campy
Yeah.
way. It's over the top. Like it's not
We're
like they showed him
also-
having a seizure and they filmed it and zoomed down on his face and he's like
But wouldn't that
It's
be
weird.
worse? I think
We
there would be
also
that would be
we're
worse,
also
but
in the
that's exactly
reality
it, right?
era of the WWE. Like we
Yeah.
had this point in the 80s, early 90s where kayfabe was king and people thought it was real. Then everyone kind of knew it was scripted. The action wasn't
wouldn't-
exactly
so-
real, and things got crazy. Things got weird. Like there's the whole Katie Vick thing, which was pretty haunted.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But now we're sort of back in this weird reality phase of the WWE where people are like, how did we find out about Kyle O'Reilly's situation? We found out about it through a tweet of someone who was in the Capitol Wrestling Center taking a video on their phone of him getting stretchered out after it happened. Like that sounds real
It
to
wasn't
me.
shown on TV. Like that's what I'm saying. It
No,
wasn't part
Okay,
of
so
the
then it's got to
storyline.
be real. It wasn't even shown. I thought it was shown on TV. Like him.
They could
being
say
taken-
it happened because of this. It happened later after the show or something. Like they could tie it into a story, but
But
it
did
wasn't
they
done
come out
on
with
TV. Like
Did they show it, or did only other people that were at
I
the
don't think
show
they showed it.
share
I don't think they showed
Okay,
it.
so I didn't know that. I thought they were showing it, and it was filmed him being taken back, and they were like, "Oh, I hope
it's
he
such
gets
strong
better."
opinions. You don't know nothing.
Well, it changed. I still have the same. I still have the same opinions, but now if we're gonna guess whether it's real or fake, it looks more like it's real,
Yeah.
for sure. In my opinion.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it
Anyway.
gets used or not. But
Still,
my-
still a bad. Still a bad. So thank you
Still
for
a bad.
that, Wax.
It's just my gripe,
welcome.
or not gripe, but my thought is like how, because I don't want wrestling to be limited in what it can do as far as they have to work harder.
there's a way
than
of
ever.
doing everything, right? If this is a real illness that he's suffering from,
I
and
know.
you zoom in on it and all this, like
That's
if
why
this is
I'm-
a cool way, like it happened after a show, and you're trying to, the move that he gave him in the ring was so powerful that it caused this
Yeah.
to happen to him, like.
And
It
you have
just
to work-
doesn't. That's not realistic at all. You don't hear about that happening in like the UFC where some guy gets punched in the face, but later he had a seizure that night because he's diabetic.
But like, and don't you think you have to work harder than ever these days to have any kind of kayfabe? If everything, like you said, it's
Yeah, but
like
they don't
almost
try.
dead?
So why would they do this ultra super
They
realistic
try. They
blur?
try.
No.
There's no kayfabe in wrestling anymore. Then wrestling doesn't exist. Like you need some form of it while it's
Kayfabe is
on.
dead. Ric Flair got Lacey Evans pregnant.
No,
No,
Kurt
I don't
Angle's
know.
son was
I don't
Jason
know.
Jordan.
they debunked that on Raw. So.
Yeah, I know. Finally, they Ric Flair said, "I was just pretending."
sorry, I was just pretending.
Stupid.
But you came up with some stupid storyline, realized it was dumb, and you binned it. Like it was. Bin it.
Yeah.
Stick it to
Brad.
the bin.
Give us your one good, one bad.
All right, I'll do it really quick here because I want to hear Jordan's. So, what about this here? Is this a good or a bad?
Shane McMahon got a vendetta against me, and that's why you kept me out of the Elimination Chamber match last night. I'm a former Universal Champion. I am far more clarified, far more clarified, far more clarified, far more clarified.
Can you
Far
please,
more clarified.
Can you clarify what he said, please?
Yeah.
Was that a good or a bad to you?
It
I need to qualify.
It's a bad.
that.
It's a bad. Not just because of the botch, but because he was fed to Bobby Lashley and made to look like a fool once again.
Whoa, listen. Okay, the ending of
Well,
Raw. Whoa,
okay,
whoa.
that's you're touching on one of my good / bad
Yeah.
here. So we'll come back to that in a wee second.
I'll leave it. I'm gonna jump into my good. It's gonna go with, man, I don't even know now. So much garbage. I guess I'm gonna go with. I like where the storylines are going. I like where things are happening. You know, Edge versus Roman seems like that's gonna be really cool. Drew versus Sheamus. I've been calling it for weeks. I want to see it, so I'm down for it. I'm fully bought in, even though those two guys are not in the title picture at the moment. I want to see them duke it out while Bobby Lashley and The Miz and everything else that's going on happens. So you know what? I like that I'm getting some clear direction. We're starting to know what the storylines are. So my good of the week is storylines are being formed. I understand who's fighting who and why.
Wow.
And
It's
away
a
we
low
go.
bar. A low bar.
100%, right? That's all I asked
all
for.
you need.
Why are Drew and Sheamus fighting? We had a huge build-up, and now I know why they're fighting, and it's going to be some badass matches. Not even for a title. It doesn't have to be. We have, except for, of course, the women's division. We'll talk about that at another time, because I talk about it every week. It's my constant bad, because it's just a mess.
We need a new
especially their
women's
tag
revolution.
division.
Or
Yes. Women's Revolution
basically.
2.0 needs to come in.
yeah, new
and
pay-per-view.
they need-
Didn't they have a
It
pay-per-view
is.
like that?
It's called NXT. Like, there's so many
I
women
know, but
there
it-
that are better than what we've got at the minute. But
we need
anyway.
them on
Ripley
the big
coming up.
stage.
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley, what do you guys think? Do you guys like the tease of Rhea Ripley coming
No.
in, or did you want her to show up and just...
Yes.
I'd
I
rather
wanted her to
obviously.
show up.
Obviously, I hate when they do that shit.
Because we know they're going to botch everything as soon as she shows up, because we're getting a big
She's
tease.
already
to
she's
a
been
big...
in a Royal Rumble and like multiple pay-per-views for you know the main.
She's
main
been in a
roster.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, so that's why she
Yeah,
needs to
it's
be
like,
teased
okay.
now, like, new character coming soon.
I'm just worried though that she turns up and it's gonna like our theme's gonna hit and it's gonna be like,
A new theme.
this is my brutality. I'm
not like most
it's just gonna
girls.
totally. I'm not like
Whoa,
most
they changed-
girls. I'm Australian. Like it's just gonna just cartoon.
Just a little
horror.
kick in the bum.
We.
Spoilers!
Aye.
Anyway, that was
All
my
right.
good. That's my bad. Let's send it over to Jordan Deves in Scotland.
Okay, no, right.
That's what they should do. Yeah.
My good is Bobby beating Strowman clean. I'm sorry. That is a
100%
good.
clean.
100% clean. That, like, talking about Bobby going from kind of US title and just being like, to he's now with MVP, he's now with Hurt Business, and he's building traction. He's now in the main event picture, and he beats Strowman clean. That's
And he had a good
class.
promo. MVP
Yeah.
was talking for him, doing a good job. Bobby comes in, and I was like, oh, no. And he did better than Strowman.
Yeah. Like I thought it was class. I really enjoyed it. I think the dynamic there is really great. I do think, and this is my prediction, I do think that this is building more to a Strowman Bobby angle than it is Bobby winning the title. So
Yeah,
I think
I think so, too.
personally, I think next week this Miz Bobby thing is going to end with Strowman getting involved somehow. And we might have a kind of Clash of the Titans type thing at Mania with Bobby and Strowman. Not for a title, but I think that would be a good match. Two big behemoth type guys.
You
You
could
know?
even have the three of them, to be honest, with Miz being that sneaky, like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you
They
could.
they could build that all the way to there if they wanted
But I
to.
think that the title is, I mean,
Because then you don't know who's going to win. If it's, again,
yeah,
though,
but
like,
then it's not going to be Miz, is it? Realistically, in a triple threat against those two. So, yeah, I think my good for the week is definitely just. I mean, he was in the show 3 times, from a promo at the start to a kind of half-assed promo with Strowman in the ring in the middle of the show, and then a match at the end. Bobby Lashley, I'm not a massive fan, but he did really well, and he actually, I would say, him and the Hurt Business saved Raw. Raw was, if I gave 6.2 to Elimination Chamber, I'm going to give a 7.1 to Raw. That's how much better Raw was.
Raw
You
was
don't have
good this
Bobby
week. I
train.
enjoyed
Get on
Raw
the
for the
Bobby
first time
train.
in forever. Yeah, Bobby, man, he's looking good, talking
Yeah,
good.
Great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Strowman's become a bit of a muscly jobber. I can't.
Oh, he is a jobber. He comes
It's-
back.
No.
Botches.
he's
he
not a
botches,
jobber. He's
he
not a
gets
jobber.
buried.
He is
He's still in
botching, yeah, but
He's involved in this storyline with The Miz and Bobby. He's at the top of the top right now.
I
He's
What
in
do you
there.
mean?
yeah, I just think though that he's involved.
He lost to Bobby, but he's still going to be involved.
Yeah,
just
I
came
think
back,
he's
he
more
barked.
involved with Bobby than he is with the Miz.
Yeah.
Regardless,
I don't think he's going
still
to be
involved.
super involved with the Miz.
If you're involved in a package with Bobby Lashley, he's one of the top guys right now.
Yeah,
Clearly,
exactly.
I don't think it's
Exactly.
a well, maybe it's a package, but right now it looks like he just
we'll see.
wanted
Right?
to fly.
Okay, so you guys are. Yeah, I'm on the opinion of I don't think Strowman is being jobbed here. I think he's being
No,
built
I think
into
this is a
this
build
story.
for him and Bobby for sure. In my mind, anyway.
I think he's going to be involved in the title picture.
Oh wow. Okay, we'll see. Only
Yeah,
time
we'll see.
shall. I mean, they've got WrestleMania is going to be spread over 2 days again, so there's going to be a lot
2
of matches. To,
It's 2 weeks, this
yeah,
year.
2 weeks.
Make up for all the dates without fans.
Oh,
3 hours a night.
Yeah. Oh bloody hell! We're going to see. Maybe we'll actually see Kalisto in a match rather than just flirting with Sasha in the back.
The octopus is back.
My bad.
Bunny.
There's a few, and they've been mentioned for the most part. I think. What am I going to go with?
Naomi and Lana, Charlotte and
yeah, do you know what?
Asuka. I mean,
My
there's
bad
something.
has to just be in general the women's division. It's just a shambles.
You
Like
misogynist.
it's not. Nah, it's not though. Like if
I know.
I really enjoy watching particular women wrestle. Like some of them are so good, but unfortunately, all we're seeing is these ridiculous tag matches that don't mean anything. Like what did we have on Raw? We had 2 tag matches. One was Charlotte and Asuka, who don't want to be together but are pushed together against the tag champs. But actually, they shouldn't be wrestling them because there's currently 2 number 1 contenders, right? One of the number
Makes
1
no
contenders,
sense.
which is Naomi and Lana, they ended up in a match against the sexy muscle friends, right? They've
And you
got
can
a
tell
name,
they don't care.
so there you
That
go.
match was so sloppy. Like,
It was
out of those
awful.
4 wrestlers, those are 4 great wrestling talents, and they
Wait, who
put
was
together
wrestling?
a sloppy match. It was Charlotte and Asuka versus Shayna and Nia, of course.
Oh, so
champions.
three great wrestling talents.
Ooh.
Yeah, Asuka's
not
not
good.
class.
No.
But like, you've got. I mean, I don't have a problem with Naomi
It's
and
three- it's
Lana
4 great workers, like
against the
Mandy and
sexy
Dana.
muscle friends or whatever. I don't have a problem
Sexy
with that.
muscle friends, yeah.
If that's how you want your kind of women's tag titles, they're basically the IC title for the women's division, right? Because we don't have an IC title. So they like those tag belts are basically the developmental title. But then why have we got 4, I would argue, main event women in a tag match that is of no consequence to anybody? We say it every
That's
week.
the
The
question.
women's division, particularly in my opinion, on Raw is awful. And now they're just about to add Rhea Ripley into that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we
The
kept
question
saying it.
is,
You know,
What
where?
What is she?
who is she going to tag with?
Yeah, well, that's,
That's the question.
I
Billy
don't
Kay.
know. Billy Kay, yeah.
Yeah. Australians.
Sexy Aussie friends, the new Iconics. Oh,
Obvious-
Iconics 2.0.
Oh no, Billy Kay's on SmackDown.
Iconic.
Yeah, you've got 2 Australians on Raw. They could tag, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, my bad has got to be just the women's division. None of it makes sense. I don't get it. Do something. Hurry up.
So what's going to happen next week between, talking about your good, Miz versus Bobby? So Bobby winning this match clean against Braun means he gets a title shot next week on Raw. Will we get a clean finish again?
No.
Can I ask a question? Because I missed a bit.
I just
of,
asked the question.
Sorry. I missed a bit of Raw, so I saw at the start Bobby Lashley gives him an ultimatum, or no, or he's just like, you have an hour to make up your mind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I see Adam Pearce basically taking that as law, and just like talking to Miz like, you bet you don't have much time left. Like, did he comment on it anything more than that, or he just accepted it as like,
No,
you have
he
an
just
hour?
said, "Oh,
Miz,
he
let's
gave
put
you
the
an ultimatum." He basically
Yeah.
said in that
What?
promo, he said, "Oh, well, you made a deal with Bobby," and it's like, "What?" And
Wait, Pierce said you made a deal with Bobby?
yeah, he said,
Oh,
"You made it. You made a
and that's
deal
okay
with
with
Bobby."
him?
Yeah,
That's
That's
okay
so
with
funny.
him.
Like, you should just go in the back now and do that all the time. You're like, Adam, listen,
Yeah.
I challenge Roman Reigns.
now, unfortunately,
Well, yeah, they made a deal.
Raw and the Elimination Chamber and everything like that don't take place in Scotland, because if it did, it would make more sense for the storyline, because I don't know, I can't speak for Canada, but in Scotland verbal contracts are binding, legally binding, so that would make sense. Adam goes, well, you got into a verbal contract with Bobby, so therefore you have to fulfill. However, I don't believe that's the case in the United States. So
I'm taking it to wrestler's court.
I'm taking it, yeah, Wrestler's Court. We're going to have JBL as the judge.
JBL.
And Asuka's going to shout something in Japanese. And yeah, there you go.
Former champion Rosenberg will be on the little typewriter.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Rosenberg.
It wasn't even just
Former
a
champion.
deal. It wasn't even just a deal like, hey, well, you owe me a match down the line. The deal was he comes out and destroys the company's champion to screw him out of the title and then get, like, that's the deal you're okay with. You made a deal. It's fine. I don't know. Adam Pearce, come on, man. Wake up.
Wake up. Yeah, wake up, Adam.
Got no control, Adam. Get it back.
Get him, Jason. Get him. All right. So, I mean, is there anything else good or bad? Is there anything from this week that you guys want to summarize? Is there anything you want to bring up? Or are we on to next week where we will have the return of Jason's homework of the week?
Jason's homework of the week.
Do you have an idea for a homework of the week, Jason? Or are you going to have
We
some
never
time?
did our Elimination Chamber one.
Do you want to do that next week?
What do you mean?
Our four
favorite
best Elimination
Chamber
Chamber
moments.
moments.
Oh,
We
yeah,
never did it.
We could.
I'll go back and watch some Chambers. I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good chambers.
Well, I'm glad we're super enthused about Jason's homework for next week. Top
Recycled. Look at
So-
Jason's going green.
top 4 moments / spots in chamber matches. Is that right?
That's right.
Lovely. Jason the Visionary.
Number 1 of Jason's will feature Carlito.
Number 1, no, but he might make an appearance.
Oh, sexy. Well, there we go.
I spit in
I
the
guess-
face.
I guess that's
of
about
llamas.
it.
Well,
got
thank you
nothing.
so much for listening to another episode of the Four Jobbers podcast. Since Jason has nothing, we will wrap it up. You can reach out to us
No more
on
complaints.
social media at the Four Jobbers. Hello at thefourjobbers.com. All of our personal handles are in the description below, so you can reach out to us personally and tell us we suck.
Don't do
Please
that,
do.
please. Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
And you
We'll
know
take
that we're more clarified than any other podcast
Clarify.
to deliver wrestling news.
You get mesmerized.
Clarify.
Yo,